In reading comprehension questions in paper 1 reading, sometimes the question asks you to talk about the feelings of a character, and questions become sometimes difficult for you, for candidates, when they ask you to tell and describe the feelings of a character from different points of the story, how the feelings of character were different throughout the story. So sometimes students told me that they find it difficult to find out and to describe the particular feeling of a character. So I thought about it, and now here I am sharing with you some vocabulary, phrases, and expressions that you can use to describe a character's different feelings throughout a story. And I have also added some phrases, expressions, or sentences that will help you to find out a certain feeling or an expression for a certain feeling. So you can decide when you see these type of expression or sentences in a story by a character. So first let's see some words for the feelings of happiness and joy. So elated, ecstatic, ecstatic, jubilant, cheerful, content, blissful, like he was blissful, radiant, he was like delighted, he was delighted. The character John was delighted, euphoric. So let's see which type of phrases and expression do express the happiness feeling or feelings of joy. A broad smile spread across his face. So if you find this sentence about a character in a story, a broad smile spread across his face, it means it shows the feelings of happiness and joy. His heart soared with joy. He was walking on air. A warm glow filled his chest. He could not stop grinning. Then let's see for the feelings of sadness and despair. Melancholic, sorrowful, heartbroken, despondent, dejected, forlorn, disconsolate, morose, wasteful. Tears welled up in his eyes. So these show he was in a melancholic state, or he was sorrowful, he was heartbroken, he was dejected. His shoulders slumped under the weight of his sorrow. A deep sigh escaped his lips. He stared blankly at the ground, lost in thought. His heart felt like it was shattering into pieces. Now see some words and phrases, some words actually, vocabulary item to show the feelings of anger and rage. Furious, enraged, irate, livid, seething, incensed, wrathful, indignant, outraged. So here are some phrases and expressions. If you find these type of expressions in sentences in a story, so it means that the character is in one of these feelings of anger and rage. His fist clenched at his sides. So you see, when his fist clenched at his side, it is showing that he was in anger. He felt the blood rush to his face, turning it red. A storm of fury brewed in his eyes. His voice was a low, dangerous growl. He slammed his fist onto the table. This also shows that he was furious or enraged. So, in this way, through the sentences and the description of characters, you can trace out, you can find out, you can scan their feelings and which word you can use. So, for the feelings of fear and anxiety, here are few vocabulary items: terrified, petrified, anxious, apprehensive, nervous, uneasy, panicked, alarmed, trembling. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His heart pounded in his chest. He swallowed hard, his mouth dry. His hands shook uncontrollably. He felt a chill run down his spine. So these are the feelings of fear and anxiety. Next, the feelings of love and affection. So adoring, infatuated, enamored, devoted, affectionate, tender, passionate, smitten, fond. The phrases and expression, like his eyes softened as he looked at her. He felt a surge of warmth as their hands touched. His heart skipped a beat. He could not take his eyes off her. A smile played on his lips as he thought of her. So these type of expression shows the feelings of love. So these type of sentences used for a character give you hint, actually clue, that there are some feelings of love, and you can use all of these words: devoted, affectionate, enamored, to describe the feelings of a character. Then there can be confusion or uncertainty whether he can do this or not, or whether someone will be able to do something or not. The character is pondering, thinking. There is a feeling of uncertainty or confusion. So the vocabulary words that you can use to show these feelings: perplexed, bewildered, puzzled, baffled, uncertain, doubtful, disoriented, flustered, indecisive. Phrases and expressions that show these feelings. If it has been discussed about a character, he furrowed his brow, trying to make sense of it all. His thoughts were a jumbled mess. He scratched his head in confusion. He hesitated, unsure of what to do next. His mind raced, searching for answers. So this again shows that he was confused, disoriented, doubtful. Then there come the feeling of surprise and shock, like astonished, startled, stunned, amazed, flabbergasted, speechless, dumbfounded, taken aback, aghast. Here are some examples. His jaw dropped in disbelief. This showed the feeling of he was in shock. This showed the feelings of shock in him. He blinked rapidly, trying to process what just happened. He was frozen in place, too shocked to move. So this expression, this line also describes that a person was in a feeling of shock. His eyes widened in surprise. He gasped audibly, unable to believe his ears. So these expressions give you a clue that the character was in a feeling of shock. Next are the feelings of determination and strong resolution. Resolve feelings. Let's see. So resolute, determined, steadfast, unwavering, tenacious, persistent, unyielding, focused, committed. He was focused, he was committed, like he was determined to do something. So here are some examples from stories. His jaw set in determination. He squared his shoulders, ready to face the challenge. So how will you describe these feelings? You will say he was determined. He was persistent. A steady look of resolve came over his face. He would not back down no matter what. His eyes burned with purpose. Guilt and remorse. There can be feelings of guilt. So you can use these words to describe these feelings: guilty, remorseful, contrite, regretful, penitent, ashamed, self-reproachable, self-reproachful, sorrowful, atoning. So here are some examples from different stories where there were feelings of guilt and remorse and regret. His eyes filled with tears of regret. He hung his head in shame. He could not bear to look at himself in the mirror. His voice was thick with guilt. He felt a heavy weight settle on his conscience. Then there are last thing is the feelings of excitement and anticipation. So you can use these vocabulary items to show these feelings, like excited, eager, anticipatory, thrilled, electrified, animated, enthusiastic, expectant, exhilarated. So here are some examples from different stories when they describe the person, the characters, the feelings like that, that you can use these words to describe the feelings of character. He could hardly sit still, buzzing with excitement. His eyes his eyes sparkled with anticipation. He felt a rush of he felt a rush of adrenaline as the moment approached. He was on the edge of his seat. His heart raced in eager anticipation. So this vocabulary and these expressions can help add depth to your character's emotions and make their feelings more vivid and relatable. When you are writing your own story, even then in your writing paper, you can use these words to describe the feelings of your characters. Thanks for watching. Stay in touch with us to watch more videos on O Levels English.